It's here. It's finally here, folks. Women's final action from the 2022 Canadian Ultimate Championships, the VC Showcase Field in Brampton, Ontario. It's Cube in the dark jerseys out of Quebec City, taking on Iris in the white jerseys from Quebec. It's an all-Quebec final here. Theo Wan, G. Lee on the mic, Tushar Singh on the ones and twos, also manning the camera. We're fired up for this one.
We are fired up for this one. We've got Cube working all the way through, beating out Venus in the semis to get here to the finals. The last time they were here was in 2012 against Traffic from Vancouver, BC. Good opportunity for them right now. They've been dominating against some other teams, having some quick universe points, but their defense has really stepped up this tournament.
And they had dropped that pool play matchup to Venus earlier, but then avenged it here today in the semi. So now, Iris in white, set to receive. And if you watched Cube's game yesterday when they took down Incognito in the quarterfinal, they had to work their way up.
They did. They worked all the way, and it's been a tiring tournament for them, I think. They've used a lot of energy, and now for the final game, we got to see what's left in their tank.
That is potentially a concern, but you got to play the points and see what happens here. Jeron Jacques in the middle for Iris, and that throw too far for the captain Nguyen. So Cube right away, break opportunity.
Good movement there by Iris. Just the throw is just a little bit too far away from the receiver. We have Cube moving that disc really well across the field.
We saw Latu Leaps get things started, the leading assist person for Cube. That throw to Wah, just gonna roll into the turf and eventually hit the fence.
Nguyen did a great job over there, sticking her foot out just to make that throw a little bit tougher for the Cube player.
For Iris, coming to this one, they were able to dispatch Stella in the semi, but they went up half 8-0. That was very exciting, but then Stella is able to work it back and put some resistance on this Quebec squad.
Yeah, that game ended at a 15-10 score, and they were just, it looked like Iris was just letting up a little bit or testing out some new things, because it did feel like they still had control of the game, but allowed Stella to come back.
Tulip gonna put out this huck, and this one is gonna inside out its way out of bounds. Tulip's gonna get a lot of mileage as a thrower and discussing things with their players, saying you need to come in or can't all be clogging into one space.
Yes, and right now, Iris is doing the same thing, I think. Their game plan hasn't really changed. Coach Fisher has mentioned that this flat mark that they're using is something that they've been working on, and it is making it difficult for teams to make the throws that they want.
Lene high stall, gets it around. Keeping it alive is Emond. Over to Cote on the far side, but before we can continue play, there's a pick. Iris getting this opportunity. This is going to be their third possession of the first offensive point of the women's final. We're going to discuss why this is taking place right now instead of tomorrow at the conclusion of this point. Cote gonna find Prevost up the line for an Iris hold, 1-0.
Great patience there by Iris, looking for Prevost up the line. They don't look nervous at all. Iris looks like they've been here before, and they're looking good as usual.
They were in the 2019 final, dropping the game to Sixers, a good one. So they've been there. They've had some turnover with their roster, but a lot of the core has returned. You probably heard of names like Prevost or Marie Genet and Penelope Robert, some of the stalwarts on this squad. But, gee, we were expecting perhaps the finals to happen tomorrow, but we got them all back to back to back here today.
Oh, I don't know how nervous you were, Theo, but this morning we were just waiting for the call, seeing how many games we were going to have live stream today. This is a crazy day of Ultimate. If you love it as much as we do, you are staying tuned for every single game. We've got thunderstorms up ahead, and it's looking a little cloudy around us, so we're trying to get all our games in for this Saturday Hopefully under the lights. Hopefully we can get some like really cool shots too. You know, photos are great, but we had to cancel tomorrow just in case because we wanted to play this out.
With Masters, Nationals, some of the games, 2 of them didn't actually finish. So the women's was at 4-2, I believe, for Stello, if I'm not mistaken. And then the mixed final that was set to take place between Epoch, or Poc out of Quebec, and Forever Young out of BC didn't happen.
Nope.
So we didn't want that same fate to befall these teams here.
It was an early decision by Ultimate Canada, and at the end, I think it was a good decision. A lot of work for us, right, Theo? But at the same time, I think it's super cool that we get to go back to back to back to back to back, I guess. 6
straight games on the stream for you, so you can strap in on your Saturday. Great bait attempt. Got to get up quickly. Does so. Turcotte, the veteran. We talked about her on the stream yesterday against Incognito. As Cube content to work it up this open side, and now perhaps trying to swing it to the far side of the field. Turcotte loading up. Looking for an undercut, but just a bit too far for the receiver in Cote Scouvet.
And as you're watching, you can see that Iris is really playing some tight person defense right now, something the team has been working on throughout this tournament and really trying to make it challenging for other opponents to move that disc quickly.
This throw is going to pop up. We saw a few of those going left to right from Cube as well, but Iris going to come down with it. Wah did find Malte, who now has the disc. They're knocking on the door of a break. They're going to flip it for the score. Iris does get the break, but Wad does the heavy lifting with the grab.
And I believe that's a hold. Nope, that's a break. Sorry about that. But with that, though, Cube's feeling a little bit, it looks a little tense for them right now. I think they're not able to get the throws that they want. Like I said, the pressure from Iris might be a lot right now. So Cube's having to try and adjust and maybe make some quick little changes to help with their offensive flow.
Yesterday we talked about upwind, downwind lines for Cube. I think traditionally most teams, if you're an ultimate player in the audience or coach, you know, there's often an offensive line or offensive group and then a defensive group. Cube electing not to do that. They're going to go lines instead. So you have some of the top players on this Cube side, like Latulippe, along with Bergeron, actually on different lines, whereas traditionally you might see them on both an offensive line to pair them together.
And the wind is a factor here at the VC field. We are seeing a bit of a swirly wind, a little bit of a crosswind right now, and it's against Cube. So this could be a strong line for their handlers and seeing an upwind point.
Iris going right to left on your screen, up 2-0. Perhaps they're hoping for a big 8-0 lead like they did on Stella earlier in the semifinal. But Cube hoping to erase those thoughts right away. And that pull is going to give Cube a very good advantage because they got their thrower. Charlie Latulippe leading the team in assists at this tournament so far.
You've got Jonathan.
More.
Yep, and you've got Jonathan Nelson over there signaling that the throw was out pretty close to the brick line over there, giving Cube an advantage at this point to hopefully get an easy score.
Gonna be center of the field for Latulippe. Batted away.
Emphatic. That was a great defensive play right there from the Iris player. 91, Dion. They were very poachy in that end zone defense over there, making it hard for Cube to make the throw that they wanted, floating it in a little too high, giving them a higher pressure situation. Movement right now, real smooth, real smooth.
Was smooth, and Janae does take a substitution there. Going off for an injury. Big handler for them on defensive line.
Looked like Janae over there just jammed her foot into the turf, walking it off right now. So there has been a change made for Iri. That's my only French word I'll say.
Baudouin going to check the disc here, number 5 for Iris in the white. Defensive point for them, sending it over to Dion. Good save there, keep things alive for this defensive possession. That's Elwar. That throw is going to trickle out of bounds. Latulippe giving them another opportunity. Or excuse me, that turn giving Latulippe another opportunity, and you see the hand motions there.
She's directing traffic right now, letting people know where to go and what she's looking for.
Pick called.
Difficult sometimes to hear from over here, but a lot of communication is on the field. And with Latulippe just now, having her hand signals and directing traffic just helps kind of get things going, especially offensively when you're trying to score a point on a transition.
Baudouin finds a reset. Now to the far side to Dion. Going up line is Baudouin. Trying to help Iris get another break here. Looking off the dump and needs a throw. Needs a target and finds it for the score. That's Maud Ra.
Again, Iris with a lot of patience on that end zone line, moving the disc well. Their cuts up the line right now are just very, very smooth. They're using their body position really well to get open. And a timeout has been called right now, as you can see Cube in the middle with their coaches, hopefully maybe trying to get back in this game and trying to stick to their game plan.
With that timeout, we're going to take a break as well. Iris up 3-0. First half action here from the women's final. We got Iris representing the province of Quebec. Not one single city that they're associated with. They're in the whites. Taking on Cube from Quebec City in dark. It's an all provincial Quebec final. They did play at regionals. We talked about that. And Cube down 3-0. And they knew Iris was going to come out fighting here. And you saw the defense they put on against Stella in the semifinal. That really flat mark. That's going to be something we're probably going to see continually throughout this game.
Yeah, and with that flat mark, you're noticing the cuts have to be adjusted. They got to change a little bit. Angles have to be a bit sharper, as they are really trying to push their players out to the sides. With the wind being that 8th defender right now, it's going to be super hard to make the throws that you would normally make, especially against a mark that's trying to take away your angles.
You see also a contrast in how the two teams are on the sideline. Iris players clapping, a lot of offensive players having yet to play or playing 1 point only. And that block's going to take things away from Cube once again.
Good flow right now from Iris. You're watching them just transition smoothly into a nice offense, and a pick was just called.
More discussion to be had here, and we've seen a lot of spirited games on this stream, and we've always been happy to, or always happy to see that. Something that Ultimate prides itself on, spirit of the game and the communication.
I think that's very key to a lot of the things that we're doing and trying to really promote in this game. Great Great defense there by Cube.
Turcotte really getting in the way of Malte for the block. Inside to Bouchard. Bouchard gonna put out a backhand. Scooping it in, Gilbert. Gilbert needs some help right now with the stall rising a little bit. Finds Bergeron. Bouchard with some backhand fakes, really moving the mark here. And taking it away. Iris saying, for right now. Levesque coming through with the block.
What a great bid there by Iris player. She just laid out right into it. That inside throw was just a little too tight, and great bid.
OR moving things here for this Iris team right now. 16 there in white. Iris offense looking a little bit stagnant compared to what we've seen previously. And a miscommunication, see my bad being pointed to by Baudouin. So Cube, this offensive opportunity.
And again, you're noticing it's just a little bit out of their reach. It's just maybe like, I don't know, two or 3 inches just out of the reach of their players' hands, especially after a throw. That's what that flat mark is doing right now. It's making it very hard to really hit your target, and you're leading them into a space that maybe they're not normally used to.
So the question is then, how do you adjust as throwers if you're the Cube coaching staff here? Soné, Gagnon, and Turcotte, what do you tell your handlers, what do you tell your players?
I think, like I said before, I think the angles have to change on those cuts. They got to be sharper. They got to come right towards, maybe more towards the sides of the mark, so that you can actually throw to that space. Also, something to think about is keeping that disc moving faster than they have been, so that they can't set as fast as they have. Iris is a quick team, so that's going to be a very big challenge. But at the same time, Cube has been moving this disc with a lot of confidence, and they just need to connect a little bit more.
Turcotte had a great trailing edge grab, and will also run it in for the score. Turcotte making things happen for this Cube side.
And just like I said, Theo, we talked about it. I kind of had some idea, but they executed that really, really well against that flat mark. They started to move the disc faster. They made a riskier throw, though. That blade over the top was really, like, that kind of shot everything open, and it just allowed more flow, and the defenders had to try and catch up.
Cube now. You change the lines, up and down. When La Tulipe's going to be out there ready to pull, or one of her teammates, LeBlanc. But La Tulipe's going to get a lot of high intensity or high mileage touches here for the team.
I'm interested to see if Cube is going to come in a zone set just to slow down Iris. Iris has the wind right now, but it is a little gusty up here. Might be swirly down on the turf. We don't really know, but from what I've heard, it's pretty nasty down there. We'll see what Cube does. Those clouds in beyond, they're looking a little ominous.
See some chance here from Iris, and if you love Ultimate Action, you're gonna love that we have a cap all the way up to 105 minutes for this one. There's a soft cap +1 at 85, but the hard cap is at 105. Nguyen putting it out into space. Pretty throw, beautiful throw. Sitting it right on a platter for her target.
The Cube came out with a match D over there, allowing Iris to have an opportunity for a strike. With that win too, that was a really beautiful throw that just got to exactly where she wanted to, right in the middle of the field.
Been told soft cap at 90 minutes and hard cap at 105. And special rules here for the final. Love to see that. And you might not be used to seeing a Saturday final, but hey, you got finals coming at you all day. We got 2 more. Got Open And that will be Winnipeg General Strike and Alberta Rumble.
You mean a Prairie Battle?
Prairie Battle, that is correct. And then the 1 versus 2 matchup that I think a lot of people are expecting in mixed. Toronto Union versus Winnipeg PBHG.
You can see right now Iris is looking amped up for this. They're just throwing cheers back at each other, back and forth on the line. As a player, even on the opposing team, I kind of like it. They're very good on the sideline and just able to energize each other. And as a teammates, it's a really good thing to see. Brings up everybody's, just their intensity.
Bergeron and Turcotte working back and forth. That throw's going to sail too high. Elwar's going to get the block. See if they come out running here, does Iris. Every offensive point so far, Cube has had a turnover. It's a little bit shaky right now, but that wind playing tricks and is going to let the throw sail continually out of bounds. Comtois staying with it, but quite out of bounds there.
Quite out of bounds. It kind of took off. And high releases in this weather too. Sometimes you don't know where they're going to go.
Bergeron just lasering a backhand, and that's going to settle into the turf. You know, Bergeron's got the cannon of an arm, but that one with no target really in sight.
Yeah, I think there maybe miscommunication over there. She might have thought that Bergeron wasn't gonna actually release that, and in the end, way too far. Pick was called.
Play is going to reset here for the Irish side, and that throw a little too low for Elwar, who tried to make a play. And Cube, you're gifted with a short field for this offensive point. Turcotte has a teammate falling down and not worried about that. He's going to flip it for the score instead.
That is a break point? Oh, sorry. That is actually a hold for Cube over there. They did a really good job on that play of just keeping it chill, just on the end zone line. That right now, Iris seemed a little bit scattered in that end zone line. I don't think they really realized that the turn was coming. So they were trying to push up really fast, but lots of patience there from Cube and a nice, easy score.
Iris did start on offense. They have 1 break to their name so far. And coming in the second half, Cube will be on offense as we see some players lined up along with one of their coaches, Carl Sonnet-Gagnon, having participated with Quack at the Canadian Ultimate Championships in the Masters Division. Trying to continue to help build this Cube program. They're trying to build Women's Ultimate in Quebec City and keep a lot of those players there. I mentioned Iris being a more or less provincial team where there's players from different cities. They're trying to keep some of those players in Quebec City.
And what's great about both programs is that the development is really part of their culture. It's part of the key to their success as well. As you can see, TC U20s had a few Iris players on there, and they're spread out all over the country, but you can tell that Iris is bringing a lot of high caliber players into their program and developing them into some of our national team players. And Cube as well, I'm not too sure, but I'm guessing they'll have opportunities too.
Prevost, one of those TC junior players you talked about, having played U24s, getting a hug from Cote, who threw the assist. And that's a second straight smooth hold from Iris.
Cube right now getting a chance to go with the wind, seeing what they're going to pull out over here. We know that Iris has some different weapons and strategies actually that they could pull on defense, hoping to stop something quick from Cube. Especially in the wind, you kind of want to make sure everybody touches this maybe, or get enough throws that you could cause a turnover. Sometimes I like that as well. Turnovers are great in the wind, but it's also sometimes, as a handler, I do enjoy playing with a little bit of wind. It kind of makes it a little risky when you make your throws, and you have an excuse too is when you turn it over, but it's fun. Maybe not swirly wind though.
Throwers like the throwers win. I don't know if this is the case. It is a little bit more swirly, as you mentioned, and we're seeing some throws pop up, especially to this close sideline. We've seen a couple of flicks if they don't have the right edge popping up.
Great pull right there from Iris.
Bergeron waiting things for settle down. Get a little give and go there. Bergeron putting out the backhand. Receiver didn't move and now does. And almost has a hand on a great effort from Bizot.
That one faded out a little bit in the air, making it really hard for Bizot to make that catch. But great look. They moved the disc really well up the field. Didn't allow Iris to set up on defense as quickly as they have been in the past. That quick movement, I think, will help Cube out.
And then conversely on defense, I want to see them use some of their zone look right now.
That one was fun to watch, too, in our game that we saw yesterday.
That quarterfinal against Incognito, exactly, G. They did a great job with that zone.
Such a great job, but I'm wondering it's because maybe they played Iris before and know a little few things that they need to do against them.
Deep shot to Wah, and Wah dumping it right away. Smart presence. Trying to 7-cut her way into the end zone.
Good
Joanne Jacques holding the disc. Good old 7-cut.
I was just going to say it because I love that cut.
Shanae inside shot. Good effort to come up with the bid. Gaujean.
Cube again with an opportunity to have the hold, but they're on their end zone line, making it a little bit tougher.
When you're on defense, you're okay making the team go the full 70 here. That throw will go out of bounds. We're going to find out where it came in. But before we even do that, there's a foul call. One of the observers, John Nelson, explaining things. And we get a special treat, too, with Team Orange. Normally we see 2, but we get 4.
4.
Double the fun there.
Double the fun, double the orange. It's like a fruit basket. No, that is Sheila Quintos right over there. And we've got Jonathan Nelson helping out. And it looks like the ladies actually had that discussion and did not bring him into the conversation.
I think there is another stoppage. I see Robert and Chu on this close sideline for Iris, indicating things. Iris players still chanting on the sideline, a big part of their culture and their team identity here. Coming back for the reset, Mormeau.
And I think that's part of that spirit that Iris is really trying to build into it. With Coach Fisher at their helm, I think they've built something, a culture of just teamwork, respect, and sportsmanship, which is pretty much what spirit of the game is.
Gilbert, who collected the under, has been all over the field for Cube in the quarterfinal and here today as well on this offensive point. For the Quebec City squad, Turcotte, some fakes, gonna go reset. This throw is gonna pop up and take it away. Malte with the block.
Great work on defense there by Iris, stopping Turcotte from making a big throw, and that is a timeout. Iris.
I like the timeout call.
It's been a long point.
You're up 5-2. You want to keep the stranglehold on this game. Why don't you put some pressure on there? We're going to talk through this timeout instead, G.
Sure.
And talk about what can Cube do. It's only 5-2. They're going to receive on offense in the second half. What can they do to get themselves back in the game?
Right now, all we're seeing is just a few little errors in their throws. The edges might be a little bit off. Adjustment maybe with the wind will help them, but they are in this game. I don't think they're doing anything wrong per se. I think they just have to clean it up a little bit, just like some of the turnovers there. But they are shutting down Turcotte right now, right? They need their other handlers to step up a bit and maybe have Bergeron throw a few more into the end zone, get them thinking that she's even more of a bigger threat. But Turcotte has been shut down for a big huck. We were watching that last play over there. There was a big closeout on her huck, not allowing her to have her throw that she really, really wants. So hoping Cube will set that up. We've got offense set right now. Looks like Iris is in a split stack, and Cube is waiting to go and set up on defense. And when that happens, the opposing team cannot move. The offensive team cannot move. Looks poachy.
Janae, another U24 player for Team Canada in her career, getting things going. Lasering backhand, and the defensive pressure might have caused the clap catch drop there from Goujon. The throw was coming in spicy. Also a defender there, lots of things to worry about.
I think that Cube player coming in just made it so hard for her to catch that disc. Great defensive play, never giving up on it.
You might not catch the disc, but you can give some pressure. Turcotte does get up line. You mentioned they are trying to shut her down, knowing she's a key member of the squad, and getting a catch block is Goujon atoning for the clap catch that she was unable to reel in. Massé with the disc for Iris, centering it over to Janae. Calm and collected right now is this D-line offense, and then pumping a huck, and didn't really see a receiver going deep before the throw went up there.
I don't think she actually knew that there wasn't a receiver there. I think that was just part of the, you know, when you go with the motions and you feel like you have the opportunity to huck it. I think that's what she thought over there. Just a bit of a miscommunication.
Sometimes when you're in that power position especially, you just want to pump it, and great layout block getting in the lanes. That's heads up defense from Virginia Malte. Now buzzing around the front of the stack, Janae. Inside shot, Goujon. Goujon gonna hang up this throw. And coming down with it, Iris does get the point. That is another break. Wow, going up strong with two hands.
You can see right now the Cube players' body language. They're a little bit tired, having to try and fight through some of those turnovers over there. Iris doing a really good job of keeping cool. But what I liked in that end zone over there was the movement before the disc was even in play. The cut came early, allowing the second person to come in and make that same cut, mirror it exactly the same, allowing an opportunity for a score. And they did. Don't know if you hear it, but Iris is yelling for one more. Cube over here, I think they're just talking about keeping it cool. In these situations, it's hard because you're up. What are you up? You're up by 4 points. Well, they're up by 4 points, and you're like, well, how are we going to get back in this game? I need to fight my way through it, but what do I need to change? We've talked about it a lot of times. They have done the right things, and sometimes it's hard to just keep repeating yourself and going, you're doing the right thing, you're doing the right thing, but we got to step it up almost and match their energy, because right now Iris, I think, is they have a bit of momentum.
We saw the energy go up for Cube yesterday as well when they started making that move and that comeback there on Incognito. So we know that they have it, but it just takes that one big play, a big grab or a huge throw that will allow them to get back in it. Latulippe, potentially the person to do that. Not the intended receiver, but heads up play there. Fabra, back to Latulippe, powering the back, and you know they've scouted that as Chu trying to take that away. Inside shot to Latulippe.
Cube again is against the wind, so their cuts are starting a little far back. I'm not sure if that's the game plan right now to allow some space for throws, but it might affect it. Great grab right there in the middle.
Dufour heads up. It bounced off a couple players. Cube able to keep possession right now. Drouin. Latulippe burning up speed on the defender Chu, and then finds the score much needed for the Cube side.
Theo, how many times did you say Latulippe's name in that play?
A lot. I didn't keep count there, but if you're keeping track at home, I think it was a lot. And Latulippe is going to drive the offense going left to right on your screen. We're going to see Turcotte and hopefully Bergeron doing it right to left.
Yeah, and you see Latulippe just leading the way, trying to direct everybody where she wants them to go. And she's also initiating a lot of the plays and making really great cuts and bailing a lot of players out.
Cube going to bring out their defense, but we've talked about the different lines that they have, and Now we see the offensive players back out for Iris. Nguyen, their captain. Seeing Williams out there. Robert, Prévost, Cote, Amond. They got a bit of a break. Now they're back out there.
Yeah, a little bit of break won't hurt you at all in this situation. Interested to see what this is going to look like for Cube right now. We haven't seen the zone yet.
And if we have, it hasn't been as effective
No.
as it was against Incognito. Incognito, a bit younger of a team, so perhaps that might work out.
There was an offside call if you saw some hands go up by the observers over there. But Iris just said they didn't want to take it. And look what we have here. It is a zone.
High release throw, having to make an athletic play to keep it intact. Williams then gets bumped and doesn't call a foul or anything, but was affected going up line. And perhaps calling an injury now, Sandra Williams.
It looked like she jammed her foot into the ground as she was trying to run through. There might have been a few people in that cup that knocked her around a little bit. It looks like her left foot is hurting. But play has stopped, and I think they're discussing it at the moment. They've centered the disc back again, so I guess it didn't affect the play, so they're moving it back there. This is a different zone than we saw yesterday, though. This is a regular 3-3-1 cup. And I don't know if you guys notice it, but Cube has had their cup have to move back. It looks like Iris has been calling a double team. Double team is basically when you are too close to the player, the second person is too close to the player with the disc.
We saw in that quarterfinal where there are times it looked like there was some double team action happening, at least from up here from our vantage point. Wasn't called by Incognito, Iris electing to do so. Cote going to keep things moving. Williams dialing up the backhand. Robert too far. So Cube, they want to get back in this game. The win perhaps playing a little tricks too, I'm sure. Receivers in the audience know sometimes you're expecting a disc one way and suddenly the disc jumps up and whoa, you don't have it.
And those are the toughest ones, and sometimes you think it's right at your chest, but no.
Inside shot to get things going. Do see Latu leap out on this point going right to left, so they're trying to power things potentially, going against that upwind downwind strategy. Wah. The lefty finds Latu leap. Latu leap sees a receiver going deep, wide open. And just a little more flow perhaps, but I think the wind also affecting it.
I think so
But had
too.
a receiver though going.
But Latu Leap is not letting up at all. She is getting every other disc, and she's making these long throws, making Iris have to work this disc back up the field.
Not just working it, they're also playing mid-mid in the zone, so lots of mental energy being spent by Latulipe, but you expect nothing less from one of your top players on the squad. It's just a lot to deal with, though.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like she's had the experience, though, in there, just going and knowing where to go, knowing where the disc wants to go, and just anticipating a lot more.
Great save by Robert to keep things going on this offensive possession for the team in White Iris. Williams had a huck sail far away earlier on this possession, but reining it in now and collecting the reset from Cote. Over to Amond. Little give and go. Williams really working things from the handler space on this possession. Finds a reset. Now they're on the door. Great effort, and there's going to be a foul call there. Mormeau was there, but did look like some contact, G.
That was a quick one, but I don't know if there is a conversation. Oh, look at that. The hands look like they're out unless, oh, there is a conversation right now with the observer. I think it was clarification, actually. I don't think she was involved in in it. It is an uncontested foul, which I thought she actually called right away and said it was uncontested, but the observer came in and I'm guessing for clarification.
Amon flipping it back. Finds Nguyen, one of the captains. Going around. Vinay goes high release backhand. Prevost almost celebrating before she landed. Just excited to catch the disc there.
She was so high up in the air, Theo, that she could celebrate at least 3 times before she touched the ground.
Gets the hold, making it 7-3. Third goal of the contest for number 27, Nina Prevost.
Q's been having some chances over here. They're doing a good job of keeping that possession and making the shots that they need. It's just I don't think they're connecting as much as they're hoping for right now. At this point, with the score being 7-3, it's looking a little bit kind of darker for them, just like the skies right now on our left. But it's just, I think they just need to cool it a little bit, relax, and then get back into their game.
Sometimes when you're in a final, we talked about it being a final way back. I think you said 10 years ago, right? 2012, is that correct?
2012, that's right.
And this program having restarted from what I've been told and been a long-standing program, these are opportunities to build up these younger players or even the veterans who haven't been in this spot before. I know, of course, they would have loved to have it in a stadium feel, but either way, there's some teams out there. Some teams huddle under tents as well that you can't see. I see PPF, who was in this tournament, watching. So there is a bit of a crowd, and that's going to create some of the nerves and give you the experience of playing in front of a crowd like that. We're seeing left to right now as the wind really picking up. Bergeron now out on this point. No Latu leap. Just for if you're keeping track in the audience.
Really small passes right now by Cube. They're trying to break through that zone right in the middle over there. It looks like it's more of a poachy zone, pretty flat at the moment. They're trying to push them to the sides, but as you can tell, Cube's not trying to go side to side right now. They're going to try and punch it right through the middle, even with the little dishes.
Aside to Drouin. Possible miscommunication, but reeled in by Tosti. These short passes, you're saying, I don't know if it's really moving that cup. You want to see perhaps some more lateral passes.
I think that cup right now is moving very quickly. So they're anticipating that throw to the next handler and backing up immediately. Sometimes you see in a cup, people like to stop and kind of crash into whoever's coming in, but they're doing a good job in just stopping the next throw, making it really hard for the handlers to push through it.
Now if you're Iris, you have a chance to take half, go up 8-3 here. You got a big throw in Genet. Gonna go reset instead to Baudouin. Baudouin gonna put up the backhand instead and almost makes the grab. Want to hold my breath for a slight bit. For Dion
I heard it. I heard it.
Play.
That was a good hold. That was a good hold. I think that's the right idea right now in this wind. If you have that shot deep, pushing whoever is on that end zone to be there, it's a good opportunity for you once they turn it over. Just like it happened. Oh, I spoke too soon. Cube has the disc back. It is now match D again. Another quick turn.
Quick turns happening. I was hoping to take advantage, but that throw into the turf Comtois, the intended target on the last 2 turnovers from Iris. Running up to the line, that's Bergeron.
There's that quick movement again. They got it right through that cup, or wall, as I should say.
Great mark here from Malte. Really getting wide, preventing some throws, and some second effort going to be taken away by Dion.
Tough throws again, trying to go side to side where the wind is just not helping. Angles are a little bit flatter, so it's hard. Stoppage of play, I think, to tie a shoelace. Technical timeout.
Janae helping out her opponent there, not tapping in the disc. Letting her tie her shoelaces as Dion's slashing in on an undercut. Still stuck on that forced sideline and trying to reset here. Doing so to Baudouin, but there is a call, a pick.
Moving again. Nothing seems to actually have changed in that one. There was no real advantage, so play began again. They're going up the line, Iris.
Baudouin and Iris knocking on the door of a break, and an 8-3 half. Needs some help right now, going reset to Janae. Janae with the flick fake. Gonna go inside, finds her target, Massé. And that's a break for Iris. They're gonna go up at half, 8-3.
Iris ends with a really nice inside throw there. I think just like in the semis, they're really they're not letting up, and you're seeing this energy again. But again, remember in the semis, it went from a solid 7-0 to 15-10, or 8-0 to 15-10 really quickly. So maybe Cube will have a chance to come back, turn some things around, complete some throws, and make this game.
Cube's coaching staff ready to help their team make a comeback. They're down 5 right now, but we'll start on offense in the second half. We're gonna take a break here. Iris up 8-3.
Bonjour tout le monde. Welcome to this amazing final in the women's division at CUC 2022. This is Tushar Singh from I Am Ultimate. Over the years, I've had the pleasure to host a few of these streams, produce them, commentate on them. Fortunately, we've been able to get better commentators. Once again, I want to thank everyone who supported this stream. Definitely want to support the players out there, but thank you to the community for helping us put this on. Thank you to the commentating crew, and also a big shout out to the crew that we had in Ottawa. Etienne Fournier from Quebec, providing plenty of great commentary with Theo Wan. Jeff Chan doing the camera work quite a bit there as well. For those of you who are interested in playing Ultimate, who might be watching this for the first time, please check and just search up Ultimate Frisbee on your favorite search engine. Find your local organization, come out to league, and then look into how you can do competitive. Competitive ultimate is extremely important. You can, if you have kids, get them into juniors. We have juniors nationals coming up. But the growth of the sport happens through us. It doesn't come through some commercial entity that drives it. It comes through us grassroots players. It goes through the organizations we have here all around the world. So do appreciate your support and do look forward to bringing you the next two finals. Looks like we've dodged the weather for today. Coming up next after the women's final, which is an exciting one. Phenomenal plays, as we're saying out there, and very exciting. The boot will be the open final, and then following that will be the mixed final, and we'll be able to close out this tournament and ensure that the medals are awarded with full games. Thank you again, and I'm turning it back to the commentary crew.
Once again, thank you for tuning in. I am Ultimates Coverage, and Tushar Singh, our producer, going on a little philosophical rant. We do like that, promoting community ultimate. We thank you for tuning in and supporting that, supporting women's ultimate specifically right now by watching this stream. And women's ultimate here in Canada. Up the line, Wa's going to take away. Has had a great game so far, made some big grabs for the Irish side.
I think Iris is doing exactly what their game plan is set to be right now. They are trying to shut down anything that is coming inside, making it super hard. But as you can see, there is a quick turn. Cube's getting it back immediately.
Here's some raindrops coming down, but a big shot. It's going to hit the turf, and we are protected by a tent here, G. The players are not. They're going to have to deal with some elements. We saw that yesterday as well.
I'm praying to the weather people that this is just rain and nothing else. Little bit's good.
Great run down by Elwar. Good concentration with the defender in tow. Disc still on the far sideline for Iris as they move it up to Wa. Wa dumping it off to Dion. Defensive point here for Iris, trying to get that break. Elwar a few yards away. Has Janae in the backfield. Instead goes around. Continuing that over, but it's smacked away. Cube wanting to keep it close. And they're going to do it with a block. Cote Scouvet knocking it down.
Great anticipation of where the disc is going to be. She did a really good job of knowing that that round throw was coming and knocked it right down.
Don't want a player to touch it there because you want it to Topar not to touch it, because you see it, the observer John Nelson indicating where the disc is actually going to come in. So Janae going to jog and grab this disc. This is actually still the first offensive point for Cube. First point out of half. Just took a halftime break, so we thank you once again for tuning in. More coverage coming at you. Open final. Prairie's battle. General Strike and AFC Rumble. And then the 1-2 seeds going at it in the mixed final at 6:30 Eastern. High throw. Concentration. Toeing the line. Iris gets the break. Goujon making things happen.
Looked like that was on purpose, leading her all the way into that end zone right on that corner. Great shot. Cube immediately running down to their line, trying to set another play up, hopefully trying to score this next one.
9-3 the score line here. Wind's starting to come down, a little raindrops out here, some elements, but for those who might have tuned in, didn't realize there was a women's final happening right now. They maybe thought there was going to be the women's bronze. Tell them what happened.
Well, Theo and everybody else listening, this weather has been ridiculous over in Brampton. Love the place, love the fields, love everything about it, but these clouds right now are pushing in, and tomorrow it's supposed to be a lot of thunderstorms, and we cannot play in thunder and lightning for the safety of our players and our volunteers. And so we have pushed everything. Oh, and Tushar.
And Tushar, we got to make sure our producer's safe and the
we
equipment.
need all the equipment and him to be safe right now. So we are playing all our final games today at this field, at the VC Ultimate Field. And yeah, it's exciting because I haven't talked this much since the beginning of the school year.
As a teacher, you're used to talking a lot, and the audience sure appreciates your commentary analysis. The wind really picking up right now. You can hear it in our microphones, see it in the wobble of the disc and the flags in the background. And Iris wisely choosing a zone for that reason, or continuing their strategy there. They did some person a lot in the semi against Stella with the flat mark. Great toe effort. John Nelson on this close side, ruling it in. Hammer. He's going to get scooped up. Baudouin needs a reset, finds Massé. Massé, the one who got the goal to get halftime for Iris. Inside shot. Now Massé trying to reel it in, gets it on the second effort.
A lot of focus and attention right now on the disc because everybody knows that they're going to need to cherish that disc.
Grab coming down with it is Baudouin. And Iris continuing the Bray train right now as the wind continues to pick up here at the VC Showcase Field in Brampton, Ontario. See how both teams adjust to that.
What do you think, Theo? Do you think this wind is going to play a factor?
As we're trying to keep our heads on straight here, and perhaps the tent for those in the audience, I suspect the wind will be a factor.
I don't know if any of you want to see this, but we've got everybody holding a corner of the tent right now, trying to keep this up. That's how big the wind is, and that's what these ladies are playing through, and they're making this look easy. So I want you guys to really think about that and acknowledge the fact that these women are at the CUC finals making Ultimate Frisbee look sort of easy in this wind.
Here's where the debate of a weighted disc in Ultimate comes in. I'm a proponent of, if there's a certain, I don't know how you do this, certain win count, you need a weighted disc. You see it in disc golf, perhaps we do it out here. I know Discraft, one of our big sponsors, we do appreciate that. Discraft, the sponsor of this tournament. I know there's a weighted disc out there, so I would love to be part of the group that experiments with that. That's all I'm saying. But we're going to let this game continue. Pulled Lightning in the end zone. Cube going to have to work it out there.
Excellent pull by Iris right now. That pull was helped by the wind, actually. The wind has actually changed from left to right, and all day it's been right to left. So we're seeing a little bit of a change. And again, teams making adjustments. Cube trying to move through this zone. And it seems a little bit easier than it has been before.
Throwing a few passes in a row, just quick little dishes. Handlers getting a little extra mileage, it looks like, when they catch it. Perhaps some travel miles there as they get maybe an extra inch of space. The Irish zone continuing to set up with that cup. Now Cube working it past midfield.
Again, a lot of the movement right now is through their handlers trying to break through that zone. And their cutters are waiting for a continuation.
Gilbert resetting it. Turcotte haven't called her name much in the second half. Over to Bizot. Bizot firing a flick. Finds her target. Great throw from Camille Bizot. Finds Lacera for the point.
After a lot of patience and a lot of throws through that zone, the handlers were able to break through. And you could see the mid-cutters just really trying to wait until those handlers got through the cup and make a cut. And that's when it opened up a bit and gave Cube a nice, easy throw into the end zone.
Cube scoring right to left. You talked about the wind direction changing, so perhaps if you're a Cube fan, you hope the wind picks up a little bit going that way so that Iris has to work harder upwind.
A little bit more, not enough to blow the tent away though.
That is correct.
Okay. I'm wondering, I think Cube should actually, not wondering. I think Cube should put on his own. I think they need to slow this down a little bit, or maybe just a quick little change up before they melt. I just feel like they gotta do something to surprise Iris at the moment. Being down a few points, sometimes it's good to change things up.
The chance continuing for this Quebec squad. It's an all-Quebec provincial battle in the women's final. Stella being bested by Iris earlier in semis, and Cube taking down Venus at the same time slot in the other semifinal. Go there. Has a disc here for Iris. Resets it back as they work it to this close side of the field to Prévost, who had a few goals.
Just
Found
a
herself
few.
in the end zone a few times in the first half. A pick. It's going to bring the disc back potentially, or the defender might just be able to catch up. We'll let the players discuss. Emond, the one who received the disc for Iris. This is, in fact, going to go back to Prévost, who's marked by Latulippe. Coming in on stall 4 here for Prévost and the Iris team. This is a high throw that will be snagged down.
Some smooth movement right now with Iris in a really good vertical stack. Now they're starting to swing that disc a little bit more. And a pick.
What I love on that pick call, we always talk rules and things like that, is Robert and Prévost right away, not frustrated about the call, just instantly throwing up the hand signals. They all both had experience playing at Worlds with Iris, team which came 13th, and so that experience with the hand signals boding well here at this national final. Great towing on the line from the Iris receiver, finding Prévost, who bats it. And that's actually going to give a little bit extra yards there for Cube.
That was a tough luck for Prévost over there. I think the wind picked that one up and then hit her wrist.
Shooting it deep, looking for a receiver. Reeled in, making the grab. Dufour gets the break for Cube, and who else but Latulippe shooting that one.
Latulippe. We've heard her name a few times, and I think she's helping them change the game a little bit, giving them big options, and that quick transition right there. They're in the game. They can get in this game, actually. I think they have a few chances right now, and they're showing that they're not letting up at all.
Iris coaching staff of Allison Fisher, Jamie Hoover, Diana Trin, trying to help continue to develop women's ultimate in the province and for their team. Calling out some players as we get a look at the Iris offensive group, and Penelope Robert. Not sure if she's going to be on this point, but one of the veterans and star players for this team giving some instruction to the line. Like to see that experience being passed on to players.
I think that leadership and just the coaching from many players, it shows their experience. It shows how much their talent there is on that team, and they're able to communicate with each other and then share the information. There's always, like what we like to say, one voice at a time. So that's some experience that you can't ever just, take it. What's the word I want to use?
Can't fake it. You gotta earn it.
You can't
gotta
fake
earn it.
Exactly. A zone is set again. 3-3-1.
Nguyen with some fakes, but now stuck on that trap sideline. We saw when Stella was attempting to make that comeback, they had a chance to get to within 4 and were unable to do so multiple times. And for Cube, this is a big point. I know it's 10-5, but if you can get to within 4, continue to put some doubt perhaps in the Iris side in their mental game, might have a chance, but don't want to let Iris score, especially without any resistance right now.
Iris feels comfortable. They look really comfortable throwing that disc. I don't think there's any hesitation. Pick called, back to thrower.
Spirit been really high in this game, and to be honest, throughout this tournament, from the games that we've had on this showcase field, everyone on their best behavior, of course. Got the observers, got the cameras out, and having great spirited action here at the 2022 Canadian Ultimate Championships. Another pick's going to stop momentum for Iris as they're trying to march in for a hold.
Looks like they're coming in on 3.
Surveying options, Prevost trying to get free on the break side. Instead, they're going to keep it on that open sideline, the far side of Vinay. Vinay looks off Williams, the reset, instead looking downfield and flipping it into Cote. Amon finds Cote for the hold, and they prevent going down by 4 points or keeping the lead extended here.
The rain looks like it's coming in a little harder over here, as we can hear it on our tent. That could affect also some of the game that's left. Cube right now is kind of in a tough situation. You're at 5-11. You gotta get going, score a point here to just at least get a hold. Iris though looks super comfortable where they are. They're okay with the pace of the game. They just look really comfortable and focused. This rain isn't affecting them at all.
You can hear it in our mics. Rain really trying to, or not trying, pouring down now. We do see sunlight behind us, G, so some hope for the other games here, but lots of rain clouds to our left. We want to make sure our equipment is safe and sound here, and of course the players as well. And we'll continue to watch out for any thunderstorms. I don't think that's on the forecast right now, but I'm not a weather person, neither is G or Tushar. So we'll leave it up to the experts to make those decisions.
We'll just keep staring at the clouds and letting people know what's going on.
Offensive point here for Cube. Great concentration there from Wah. Played with Cold at the World Masters Ultimate Club Championships in Ireland. Continuing it over to the break side. It would have been tough catch to make, having to deal with the line for Hudon and the defender.
Yeah, that was a very tough angle to make that throw. I think she was running already away from the disc, so super hard grab to make, but a great effort over there by Cube. Break opportunity now for Iris.
High stall going to go the high release backhand and good concentration from Dubé, but there's an injury call with Wah, Emmanuel Wah. Or excuse me, that's Juin. See Coach Soné Gagnon coming on to help the injured player.
I think she landed funny off her foot. After making that play, I think she really wanted that Callahan. Hopefully she's okay and can continue the rest of the game.
Dubé goes inside there, and Bergeron going to come on. Big time player for this team. It's a break opportunity here for Iris as they continue to feather it to this open side. Going to try to huck it that way, and it's going to work out. Great shot there from Amond. Finding Wah for another grab for number 7. He make that 3 goals on the day.
Iris is making it look pretty easy right now. And again, they look very chill. They're just so relaxed right now. Even though this is a final, a women's final, they just look like they're having fun out there and really trying to just finish this game up. 12-5. We're pretty close to the end over here.
And you know, if you're Iris and you have that hunger to continue to get better, you're going to want to end this, not on time cap, of course, but to 15. Been told that they do intend to play in the series, which is the series being the USAU Fall Series, attending tournaments there, attending both sectionals and hopefully, if successful, regionals, and then trying to make a run at the national tournament, which can include Canadian teams, which is kind of interesting whenever you say that because it's the USA Ultimate National Championships, but Canadian teams have traditionally gone. Toronto Sixers, Vancouver Furious George, Toronto Goat,
Vancouver Traffic.
Yeah, and Sixers coming in second in 2019.
Oh,
Don't forget
yes.
that, folks. So they don't just go, they have success. And that's really impressive for these Canadian teams. A couple of them not in attendance this year. A few of them being at Worlds recently, so they will.
It's been a busy year, Theo, with Worlds, World Masters, World Juniors. Stoppage of play.
There is a lightning delay, folks, so we're going to be taking a break, and we'll keep you updated on what's happening.
This is a 30-minute lightning delay. So for those that are tuned in, please stay tuned. For 30 minutes, we will have a delay, and following the delay, we will return. We're going to let the stream run because we want to ensure that we don't interrupt what's going on here. So you can continue watching. But we are required to stop now for 30 minutes. The storm does look like it's moving on, but we did have a lightning strike and then also heard thunder within a certain radius of these fields. So for player safety, we're moving everyone on. Thank you for everyone who's joined us. I believe the game clock does actually stop from a lightning delay perspective, so we will pause that as well. But that is being managed officially by Ultimate Canada. This game might be considered to finish right now as well. We'll check in and get back to you. Thank you.